Now, how about them damn Celtics?
We are back for the episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, May 19th. Season over. Brad Stevens just talked to us for the first time. Conference finals are about to start up elsewhere in the NBA, and we're still here talking about the Celtics every day because that's what we do. So if you're still feeding for Celtics coverage in the offseason, this channel, 5 a.m. every single day, no matter what, there will be new content for you to consume. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited for the show today. It's always fun when Brad gets in front of the mic there. He's an artist. We'll talk about what Brad had to say or not say, and we'll break it down. We'll talk about all the recent rumblings around the team because it's just the beginning. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces this summer, and we're going to be hearing about what might happen for quite some time. We'll go through your emails. We've got a couple new ones today, so shout out to you. If you did it, hbtcpod@gmail.com is the email if you have something to say. We'll go around the NBA and look at the conference finals that the Celtics aren't in the first time in what feels like forever. And Giannis, something about him going on. And we'll do the rat list and we'll get up out of here. Stick around through all of it. Jack said it. We're here every day. New content, no matter what. You don't want to miss any of it. Subscribe. Hit the bell.
All right, let's start with Brad. So Brad Stevens, had his end of season press conference today. He spoke for 27 minutes because this is the first time we don't get to talk to him often. So when he talks for a while. Where do you want to start? I feel like the most relevant point to start with is the future, which Brad Stevens opened his press conference and basically said, like, ask me at the draft. I'm not talking about it. I want to talk about the season, not what's to come, which is like kind of useless because that's all everyone cares about right now. He did like give some small hints, but listen, even at the draft, he's not going to say anything. Like Brad Stevens is not going to say anything about the team's future until it happens, right? He's not going to say, yeah, we're going to trade Kristaps. Duh. Obviously not. Because one, that's just not how it like things work. And two, if you say you're going to trade Kristaps immediately loses value, like off rip, right? Mm-hmm. So he's not going to talk about anything. He did talk about like the season, the Knicks series, talked about Joe, Kristaps' illness, Jaylen, Jason, how he helped him off the court, stuff like that. So we can bounce around, but where do you want to start? What seems the most relevant?
Well, I was so disappointed. I thought his opener was going to be holding up like a big poster of the roster and have all the guys he's going to trade in gray and the rest of the guys like in full color. It's just so we all knew. That's what I thought he was going to do. I put some notes on the sheet here. I think the draft is the most interesting thing just because it's next. Like, I did an article for Houdini, and my opener was like, everyone's like, what's next? Literally, what's next is the draft. The draft is the next time you're going to learn what the Celtics are doing. It's their next opportunity to add talent, which is going to be super important with
our
a new
next
CBA.
Chance to talk to Brad.
Yep, next chance to talk to Brad, right? Like maybe he'll answer some questions for you with that one. Listen, he gave a little bit of insight into the draft. And last year, the draft was such a big launch point for his philosophy because he was talking about sustained success, which is ultimately what the Celtics and every franchise strive for. And the best way to have talent for not a lot of money is to draft it. They have picks 28 and 30 in the draft. Kind of danced around the idea of maybe they'll move up or down. They don't really know what they're looking for just yet, but they do have two picks right next to each other. And it's a pretty decent opportunity to add some talent. Like they picked Shireman in that range last year. First round pick ever for Stevens. And he turned out pretty good so far. So good. And also, he's not going to go trade for Cooper Flagg. Sorry, everybody.
He was never going to trade for Cooper Flagg. Like that was never a thing. I mean, Brad said it today. Like that is their only chance to talk to guys who aren't going to come work out for them. And obviously Cooper Flagg is not going to work out for them because they don't have a chance to draft him. And also for those who say, well, they could trade out. Brad Stevens literally said, yeah, I don't think we're trading up. Like he said, I don't think that's going to happen. So that also is squashed for anybody hoping the Celtics are miraculously going to get Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, East Bailey, anybody at the top of the draft. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen. We're going to have plenty of draft content here on the channel for the next month or so. We're going to hopefully talk to Tyler Rucker of No Ceilings, our draft friend, soon-ish. And then we'll do all of our look at this prospect videos. Look at this prospect. And we'll probably drop a lot of those for the next month or so to get people excited for who the Celtics could potentially take with picks 28 and 32. But yeah, Brad Stevens basically said, like, nothing really changes about our philosophy in the grand scheme of things. It's a lot of just, who can we take that will help us? And it's a lot of the CBA stuff that goes into it because you want to balance. Okay, are we a winning roster? Let's take somebody you can help right now, but also like maybe we take a project if we want to move forward. But then that project player, like the danger with that is like you take a project player this late in the draft and they do pan out. By the time they pan out, they're probably in need of a contract extension. So it's a balance of like what do you want to do in terms of talent versus youth versus everything else in that. But Brad also talked about Jaylen. Noah asked him like, how much do you believe in Jaylen to lead this team with Jason Tatum out? And by the end of the answer, he did say like, yes, I believe in Jaylen. It did take him a while to say that. He's like, we have 13 players on the roster outside of that. Whenever you have one of those guys, like both of those guys, or even one of those guys on the court, you always have a chance. The takeaway is like, obviously Brad loves Jaylen. I don't know how much faith they have in him as like let's go win a championship. Then again, in another answer, he did say, I'm never going to put a ceiling on a group of guys, which I think is also fair. But I don't know. It was definitely a weird response.
Yeah, well, I think the draft was the most relevant topic of the day. I thought this was the most interesting moment of the press conference because you said it. Like Noah asked him, like, what do you think of Jaylen? And he did not talk about Jaylen until the very end, until he like was probably like, maybe I should say something nice about Jaylen. And that was the first time I was like, wonder if there is actually going to be movement with Jaylen. I don't think I'm like overly moved with that, right? Like I don't think it jumped from whatever we said on the podcast Saturday, like the 5% you could see it happening going up to like 50%, but it was certainly a weird way for him to approach that. Do you agree? Like, did that raise any red flags for you in the moment, or not really?
It was weird. I don't think that one answer is going to be the red flag of yes, we're going to trade Jaylen. No, we're not going to trade Jaylen. Right? Like, I think there's nuance that needs to be happened or added to discussion. Right? Was it a little weird that it took him so long to say yes, we believe in Jaylen? Yes. Could that have just been Brad trying to weasel his way around and emphasize how important the whole roster is? Yeah. Like, I think it's a mix of both. But also, like, I don't know, man. Like, it took him a while, and when he said it, he was really emphasizing, like, yes, I believe in Jaylen wholeheartedly. Like, of course. But the fact he didn't lead with that was like, it was a little weird. It could have been the way the question was phrased. It could have been like, if Noah said, like, do you believe in Jaylen, and two, like, how important, blah, blah, blah. Like, I would need to go listen back to the question because sometimes guys answer questions like differently based on the framework of how they're asked. But I still don't think they trade Jaylen Brown. I still have it like 1% chance. I don't that answer did not impact how likely or unlikely I think they'll trade Jaylen.
Fair enough. I'm rooting for them not to trade him. I would like to see him be here. I think like the story of him and Jason playing their careers together and so on is very interesting and is very on brand with a lot of the Celtic history, right? So I'm rooting for it. I think the easiest way to hit the reset button is to get rid of them and get like young assets back, but I don't really know what that does for you in the coming years. Like, it's a very complicated thing because you could get players back that you hope pan out, but there's a lot of, oh wow, we really hope they turn into Jaylen. So if you're trading for somebody you hope turns into the thing you traded away, what are you really doing? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, trading Jaylen never made sense to me. Like the only reason it's 1% and not 0% is because of his salary would solve a lot of problems by getting rid of it, or at least getting rid of a lot of it, and also the emotional or mental aspect of will he want his own team by the end of next year? Will there be any drama if he gives the team back to Jason? Blah blah blah. Like that, the gymnastics of all of that, which is not a problem for right now. That is not something that Celtics should be considering any more than just maybe maybe in the future. Brad Stevens also talked about Joe. I asked him like about the state of Joe Mazzulla as the head coach of the Celtics, and also like what he thinks of the Malone Jenkins current state. And Brad was like smiling the whole time, like laughing, is like, yeah, we all get it. It's uncertain. Like, I think it's always been like that. But he also like made the point of we love Joe. Joe's great. And at the end of his statement was like, we're very grateful to have Joe. So it doesn't sound like Joe's going to go anywhere. For what it's worth, when I asked, I didn't think Joe was going on anywhere. I think it was just good to have him say Joe's not going anywhere, or for all intents and purposes. He also made a point like about Jenkins and Malone, like those guys are way better than you guys even know. Like they're phenomenal. Talked about how like so many great coaches get fired every year, how much goes into winning and losing, including coaching. So the most important tidbit or the headline of it all is that it sounds like Joe's job is safe.
We all knew it. I think Joe is someone they really like. Joe has had kind of nothing but success. Like, this is a moment where it feels like the first real failure. Year one, nobody wanted them to lose to Miami in the conference finals. In the moment, everybody was disappointed. It results in big changes. But at that point, he was still a first-year coach. There's a learning curve. They come back, they win a title. Any coach that's winning a title within the first 3 years of coaching is probably overachieving at their job, regardless of the roster. With that being said, I think there is underachievement that happened this year, and I think some of the problems in the playoffs were his fault, and there's room to grow. And I think if there's anybody that wants to grow, it's him. Like, that dude loves an opportunity to learn from mistakes and better yourself. So I would imagine he's going to come back and have some new stuff. And listen, this upcoming season will be a big test for Joe too. It'll be the first time that he hasn't had probably one of the most talented rosters in the league. There's still going to be talent on it, but it's not like overwhelmingly championship level favorite type stuff. It's going to be like more of a Brad Stevens type roster where it's like, what can you do for me, Brad? How much can you make me believe in this team of guys that maybe the rest of the NBA that isn't watching games doesn't really believe in them?
Yeah, we'll see what Joe can do with it. This could be a very interesting season next year, man. Like we're gonna spend so much time discussing the offseason, so much time discussing what they're gonna do. By the time they get the next season, like it's gonna be still weird that they don't have Jason Tatum on the floor, and we're gonna have to like watch a whole season of Celtics basketball that's Jaylen Brown or whoever else and Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, and it's like, okay, let's see if these guys can win. And I said it on the pod we did right after they lost, or like the first full pod we did after loss, because I wasn't there when Jake was there because I was at MSG. But I still think this is like one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, like especially when you consider the uncertainty of the Bucks. Like maybe Giannis just stays in Milwaukee because he sees the East is weak and he wants to keep doing whatever. Maybe they won't, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But the Knicks are really good. The Pacers are really good. The Cavs are still going to be really good. Giannis is still in the East, but outside of that, it's pretty wide open, right? Like the Pistons are going to keep climbing and trying. The Magic are going to keep climbing and trying. But you have Jaylen Brown, who is a perennial all-star. You have Derek White, who's one of the best role players in the league and a fringe all-star for the past 2 seasons. You have Peyton Pritchard, who is continuing to improve. You have all these pieces. You're still going to be in the mix for a playoff team. Like you could still win a playoff series next year. You could still, do what you need to do. And the other thing Brad Stevens talked about a lot was like, you don't really know. Like he was talking about the Knicks series. Like it's down to balances. It's down to blown leads. He's like, yeah, we were down to the Knicks 3-1 this year. We could have easily been up 3-1, but we could have also easily been down 3-1 to the Pacers last year. Like that's just kind of how it goes. Like that's how the playoffs is. It's a matter of bounces. And he admitted, like straight up admitted, like, yeah, we blew it. Like, yeah, we did. Like we didn't do what we needed to do to win. And it just kind of was what it was from there. It's going to be very interesting to see where it goes next. Before we continue, I do need to tell you guys about PrizePicks. It's the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season, this baseball season, throughout the rest of the playoffs, and through whatever sports season is still going on at the time you're listening to this. PrizePicks has plenty of features. Just pick more or less on any given number or stat they give you, so you can check it out there. We do the PrizePicks on the pregame shows during the season. We would pick the more or the less on plenty of different things like points, rebounds, assists. You can also combine props if you're, into baseball and you want to also do basketball playoffs. You can pick RBIs more and then assists more and combine them into the same lineup. So make sure to check it out. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Also, on top of that, every Tuesday, PrizePicks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. It's Taco Tuesday, so make sure to check out all the cool promotions they've got over there on PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. The other thing Brad talked about numerous times and kept repeating throughout the entire press conference was my goal is to win championships. Like I want to win championships. Everything I do is focused on trying to win championships. In his opening statement, before anybody asked a single question, he said, I think at the end of the day, I think that will all be driven by the same thing. And that's always driven us. And that is, how do we get ourselves in the mix to compete for championships best? And then the closing statements he made to Gary Washburn was along the lines of, we want to compete for championships. Like he is continuously emphasizing the same things that he wants to do, which is we want to win championships. That is the goal. It is always, how can we win? How can we position ourselves best to win? He was asked about whether or not the restrictions, can hurt their goal of competing. He said, I'd never put a ceiling in a group of players. So some years you put a group on the floor, you think there's a better chance than others, but we'll see how it all looks. But my goal is always and will always be to put us in the best position to compete for championships. Like that is clearly the goal, regardless of if Tatum is healthy or not. And so if you wanted something else to indicate that I don't think they're going to tank, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a split within the fan base. People want to compete. People want to tank. The good thing is going to be, regardless of which path they take, there's going to be a lot of room for the Shiremans, the Walshes, the pick 28 and 32s to maybe step in and have the chance to play without a short leash, to actually make mistakes and learn from them. And personally, on May 19th, 2025, that's what I'm most excited to see going to next season, because I said it at the top of the show, I'll say it again now. Those contracts, those players are going to be the ones that help move the margins when Tatum and Brown are healthy, when they're shelling out, $30 million salaries to guys that makes it really hard to fill out the rest of the roster. Those rookie scale contracts are what is going to make the Celtics better than the competition or any team. Hitting on the rookie scale deals right now, I think, feels like the biggest must, or signing value deals in the NBA.
See, that part's interesting to me because I don't know. I think there'll obviously be more room for them to play. I don't think they're gonna fully go all in on let's just develop guys. Like I think they're still gonna try to win. Like I think you'll see more.
What does that look like?
Well, that's the thing. I think you're going to naturally get more minutes for those guys because Tatum is out, and so you're going to have to fill stuff. Because you look at the way they played without Tatum this year, it is not, let's just slot one guy into Tatum minutes and then bump everyone up. It is, okay,
Sure.
Let's just start Drew Peterson for a quarter. Oh, we'll go to Shireman later. We'll go to this person here. Like that, they will run an 11-man rotation for the product of one major player being out. That's how it works. And so I think by that logic, you'll get more of that. And I think Shireman will end up playing more and more consistent minutes because Tatum is out and they already saw a year from him. But I don't think the two rookies that the Celtics get are immediately going to get opportunities just because Tatum's out. Like, I don't think they're going to say, all right, this year is a scrap anyways. Let's just throw these guys and see what we got. Like, no, I think they're going to still try to win every night. And I think Jaylen Brown's still going to play 35 minutes a game. I think Derek White's still going to play 33. I think Pritchard will probably play 30. I think Sam Hauser will play 25 to 30 if he's here. I think you'll see that. And obviously there's going to be some trickle down effect of naturally, okay, so Horford retired or Luke Cornett's not re-signed. So you're going to have to play the big men some extra minutes. But if Luke Cornett's back, I think he will just jump from 15 to 28 minutes a game. Like, I don't think the rookies and younger players like Jordan Walsh are going to be handed anything just because they don't know how the season's going to pan out. I think it will all have to be earned, and I think everything will still be directed towards let's win as many games as possible.
Right. So you listed, 4 guys plus rotation? Yeah. There's going to be guys who return in trades, too.
Sure. Of course.
We'd be remiss not to be like, if they trade Porzingis, they're getting a guy or two back. If they trade Drew, they're getting a guy or two back. Those guys are going to eat minutes, too, right? But, you only mentioned 4 guys. There's going to be minutes to be eaten.
Of course.
And whether they do that through whoever they draft and the guys that are on the team now, or they are signing fringe free agents, is yet to be seen. I think that there is going to be opportunity, and I think it would be silly not to leave the door open for players to prove
The
themselves.
door will be open. Like the point I'm making, and I'll use like a random example.
Sure.
Let's say they get, I don't know, like let's say they get PJ Washington back in a trade, or let's go even further. Let's say they get Kyle Anderson type back in a trade, like a veteran who is like a win now player type of guy who's not going to be around forever, maybe around for like 2-3 years, right? He will play over the rookie. Like that I think that is how it will happen. I don't think rookies will just get minutes over veteran guys. Joe knows what they can do to help them win because, this year's scrapped anyways. Like we've learned anything about Joe Mazzulla and anything from what Brad Stevens said about competing for championships, will there be a little bit of an extra emphasis on maybe we develop guys? Sure. But they're still going to try to win. Like they're not going to just scrap a season and give, Alex Condon 28 minutes on opening night when they have, a Brooke Lopez or whatever, like a veteran guy who they know what they've got like that. I don't think that's going to be it. And maybe I'm wrong, right? Like this is completely an opinion. This is not me knowing anything, but I just don't think that's how they're going to treat next season. I think they're going to want to win games. And if a young guy shows that he can be productive and they can find something, sure. But they're not, my point is they're not going to be handed anything. I don't think this is going to be I think people are expecting this to be like a Wizards or a Nets team where it is, let's just develop these young guys. Who fucking cares if we win? Absolutely not. I just don't see that even a little bit.
I think we're kind of on the same page. I think the door is going to be open to earn that opportunity. Like, I also think with the Celtics draft this year, it's not going to be like project picks. I think you mentioned it earlier, by the time those guys are ready, you're going to have to pay them. I think it is going to be Shireman types. Shireman's not a perfect player, but when he was given the opportunity last year, for the most part, he was pretty good. And once he was confident, he was really good. Like, he had that outburst against the Nets where he had all the points and everybody was going nuts. He had a good game against Philly. He had, like, flashy moments out there where it showed that he was, like, feeling himself, prepared to play in the NBA. I don't know what the most coveted position player type is going to be for them in this draft, but I think that there is going to be a window for those guys to earn minutes and play spot minutes and like see what they can do in a role. Like, I'm not saying that Shireman's going to play 30 minutes, but like might play 15 to 20 a night. Like, he might step into a Hauser type role off the bench where he's out there to see what he's got, see if he can play make a little bit, see if he has any kind of offense going. I think there's going to be real chances for those guys. But it's not like, no, they're not going to be the Wizards. You're right.
My thing is, like, we have never seen Joe Mazzulla play rookie in 3 years. He has not played a rookie. Barely played Peyton Pritchard his first season. Like, he had to.
He hasn't. Yeah. But last year, like, I don't have, like, a window in front of me. And I suppose you could find it. Not without a lot of effort. When Torrey Craig joined the team, I feel like Shireman got more nods than Torrey Craig did.
Yes, for sure. But Shireman also finished the season playing what? How many minutes a game?
When they were on the Celtics, the two of them averaged almost the same minutes. It was like 12 a game for Shireman, 12 a game for Craig.
So if you tell me a rookie can play 12 minutes a game for... he averaged 12 minutes a game for 30 games in the season. Do I think a rookie could play around that, but over like 70 games or a little more than that? Sure. No rookie is going to crack 15 minutes. Like, that's my thing. I don't think anybody's going to step in and get immediate chances. Like, I just don't I don't see that happening, right? Like, because we're also talking about end of first round rookies. Like, these are not like guys that are going to be amazing. Could they earn it? Yes. But I think this whole notion that, like, just because Jason Tatum's out, let's just get some rookies. Like, I just don't think that's
it's not just because Jason Tatum's out. It's because they're going to gut the team.
Of course, there's going to be natural things, but like, I don't think they're just going to say like, oh yeah, like let's just. I don't know. Like, Joe Mazzulla's entire coaching philosophy is, if I don't trust you, you're not going to play, and I don't think that changes. That's my whole.
Well, Joe Mazzulla's had a championship roster in his 3 years.
I don't care. I don't think that matters. That's the whole point I'm making. I don't give a shit. That doesn't matter to me. They're still going to have a playoff competitive roster. I don't think his coaching philosophy changes because he says, we might not have as good a chance to win a title this year. That's all I'm saying.
I think the roster is the biggest question mark in all of this.
Sure, but I don't think that, like, if they lose Luke Cornett, Al Horford, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, then yeah, obviously they're going to have some natural things. But I think if they sign a minimum contract center in free agency who can still play, he's going to play over a rookie.
Okay.
So like if they go out and sign, like, I don't know who the fuck's available. Like, let me see. I don't know. I need an example to tell you like exactly what I'm thinking. Like, let's say they go out and sign, and find a center. Let's say they draft Alex Condon and then go out and sign Steven Adams to a minimum in free agency. Steven Adams is
if they got
over
Steven
Alex
Adams.
Condon. He's gonna play over Alex Condon. Like,
I'd love it if they got. This is starting to get fun. You
know what I'm saying? Like, if they re-sign Luke Cornett, he's gonna play 30 minutes. Alex Condon's not gonna see the floor. If Al Horford's still on the team, he's gonna play, right? Like, I just don't think we're going to see. Oh, we just have this veteran guy on the end of the roster who'll probably give us a better chance to win, but we want to see what like, I just don't think that'll be a thing at all.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to. My argument is more of I just don't know what the roster's going to be. Like, sure. I think we know that there are going to be several young players on this roster, along with some quality players. And my take is not that they are going to favor young players rather than somebody that can help them win. I just think there's going to be opportunity for both.
Sure. I don't know. I think it's going to be weird because, like you said, we also like it's not like, as far as we know, at least maybe it is. It's not like they're just gonna release Drew Holiday and Kristaps. Like there is stuff that comes back.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like 4 second-round pick.
So like, if they trade Kristaps, or let's say they trade Drew to like the Mavericks for PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, like, that is even less opportunities because you have 2 guys who are going to play over. So like, I think there's just, I don't know. I hesitate to say like, oh, we're going to see a lot of young players in rotation next year. I think Baylor Shireman for sure, but that's because we've seen a year of it and Joe trusts him now. And like the Jordan Walsh thing, I don't know about. I don't know how much he's going to play in general because I don't.
Walsh was just an example. I know. think a lot of the end of the season / players were out stuff showed us that Joe does not love Jordan Walsh.
Yeah. I think we'll see a lot of Shireman and past. I think the biggest thing for me is the center position because we really don't know what's going to happen there. Because if Kristaps gets traded, Al Horford retires, you don't sign Luke Cornett. Nemi's not. He can't be your strike center. We're going to have to figure out a lot of stuff.
He's ready if needed.
No, he is not. We'll see. We'll see. What else did Joe talk about? Is there anything, or excuse me, Brad talk about? Is there anything else we haven't covered? I'm screaming through here. Talked about Jason Tatum. He talked about how hard it's going to be for Jason Tatum. He talked about how the positive was we were 15 minutes away from Dr. O'Malley, a terrific surgeon who's done multiple of these. Like how much of a blessing it was. It's realistically, like, it is kind of miraculous that they were in New York when this happened, like next to the best surgeon in the world who has done this a million times. Like, as much as the injury sucked, like, that is an insane thing that happened. Talked about what went wrong against New York and how, like, it all comes down to how they blew the first 2 games. Talks about the exits of the teams, like how great the guys are on the team. Talked about championship window shrinking, basically that he doesn't really know. The draft we talked about. I'm just making sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, he was Corrales asked about like how different do you think playoffs and regular season games are, and he's like, yeah, they're fucking different. It's completely different brands of basketball with the physicality and everything. But outside of that, I think that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else we missed.
No, I think that we talked about all the interesting stuff. The playoff exit sucked. His answer about the playoffs being different was a little funny because he was so like vehemently in agreement on that. Was like, it almost sounded like he was pissed that they let them play a little bit more physical, which I actually think like the games have been more fun to watch. I don't know, whatever. You also don't want guys getting hurt. A lot of guys got hurt in the playoffs. So, but yeah, Brad talked. He said a lot of nothing, and we'll talk to him again near the draft.
Indeed. All right, let's jump over to the email here. A reminder, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. I know we just did an email video the other day, so if you're waiting for your email to be read and you're audio listener, check out the video we posted on YouTube yesterday. We probably talked about it there. I don't know if we have any emails. We do. We have a couple emails.
We got a couple.
Let's go over them here. Again, hbtcpod@gmail.com. First email we got is from Philip. Shout out Philip. who says, I have my doubts, hey fellas. The idealist the idealist plan seems to be let KP go to get under the second apron and let JB lead the team until JT comes back at the end of next season. The Celtics may make a playoff push somewhere between the 6 to 8 seed. Here's my list of significant things that could realistically go wrong. JT doesn't come back. JT comes back but isn't close to 100%. JT re-injures himself coming back early. Drew shows his age. Al shows his age. JB has lingering issues with his partially torn meniscus. Pritchard, Hauser have ice cold stretches. Celtics start the season so slow. No flexibility in the cap to adjust the roster. Even if a couple of those things happen, this team is not likely to go far in the playoffs, let alone win the chip. The East is simultaneously growing up around the Celtics. Other rosters are more likely to improve than ours this offseason. Sad for me to say this, but if the goal is to win championships, let's accept the idealist plan is not going to work. And where would that leave us at the end of next season? Time's not on the side of this roster, and waiting another season is only going to exacerbate that. Do you guys agree with the idea that the idealist plan isn't going to work? In a separate email, I want to propose an alternative plan, but I'm most curious to see what you stand on the idealist plan. Best, Phil. So the idealist plan being let KP go to get on the second apron and let JB lead the team until JT comes back at the end of next season. Playoff push 6 to 18. I see. I'll let you go first.
I was actually going to defer to you because I think you have stronger feelings.
That's fine.
Than I do on this.
Listen, I think thinking obviously the goal is to always win a championship, but thinking of things in that black and white is not realistic, right? And I outlined this in the last time. So if the alternative plan is to let's trade JB, let's trade, Drew and KP, let's gut that completely retool around Jason Tatum. And everyone's like, yeah, it's so much better because you could take this hero, get a young pick. What if the young pick is a whiff? What if you whiff on that? What if what you get back for those 3 guys don't pan out as legitimate pieces next to JT? What if, JP comes back after that and isn't what he was? And then you don't have this great supporting cast that you built. What if Jaylen Brown, is the answer? What if he is great leading the team? What if he is, still the perfect guy next to you? My thing is you don't give up guys like Jaylen Brown. You just don't. Unless they want out or you are like completely ready to tear things down. And JT being out for one season isn't ready to tear things down, right? Like realistically, I think it is an 80 to 90% chance that JT misses next season and comes back and works his way back to around where he is right now. Like he's 27, he's not 35. And even KD, who was like 32, 31, whatever, when it happened, came back and has had, 5 straight seasons of like all-star, all-NBA level basketball. Jason Tatum is 4 or 5 years younger than he was when KD was when he tore his Achilles and has been one of the most durable players we've seen in the last 10 years. So everything that could be positive is positive when it comes to his potential recovery from this injury. And so I think as much as it may not be fun to watch a year where you probably know they will win a championship, being like, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, Philip, but like being Debbie Downer and being like, oh, it's so not worth it, whatever, just got it. Like that is very short-sighted in my opinion, because Jason Tatum, when he comes back from this injury, let's say it takes him until he's 29 years old to be fully healthy. He's 27, right now, going to turn 28 next year. And then by the time, so like, let's say he's 29 by the time he gets fully healthy. You're still talking about what? 3-4 years of having a top 5 player in the world if he ages as well as we think he is. And after that, probably still another 5 years of quality basketball from a really good player. Like gutting things. And like, I think gutting things would create an infinitely larger amount of uncertainties than just dealing with a year of potential mediocrity. I'll put it that way.
To you, gutting things means Jaylen is gone, correct?
Trading Jaylen, trading Drew, trading Kristaps. I think that is pretty gutting things. And the people saying like, oh, maybe you trade Derek and Pritchard, I think are the people who are in a complete state of panic. And I think that's even too far. I think trading Jaylen is too far. That's where I stand.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it feels like, at the very least, Kristaps is a foregone. Like, he's not playing here anymore.
Yeah, of course. That has nothing to do with gutting things, because, like, I obviously there are certain financial... Like, I don't even think trading Drew and KP is gutting things, because that was always going to happen. But, like, when you get
That's where I'm at.
Yes, and I think that's fine. I would even be lean towards, if you can keep Drew, but I don't know how financially realistic that is.
Okay, I mean, like, I would like to keep Drew too. Personally, I would. I don't know. I'd rather keep Derek, but I don't think you can keep both. So, I think Philip's list is not being a Debbie Downer. I think these are all very realistic, and I'll talk about them one by one. I don't think Tatum should come back. next year. Unless like he is 150% ready, right? I think that's just an unfair expectation to put on somebody who's gone through this injury a week ago as we record this. So the first three things I don't even think are going wrong. Well, let's say this. 2 and 3 are going wrong. Number 1, I think, is according to plan. Drew's showing his age. We don't know if Drew's going to be on the team. I think it's realistic to think that he could show his age, as you put this as a realistic going wrong. Al's showing his age. Al is going to show his age. This is what's going to happen. I think we've slowly seen it in doses, and we would continue to see it in doses if he's on the team next year, which we do not know if he's going to be on the team next year. JB has lingering issues with the partially torn meniscus. This is a possibility. This is something the team could lean into if they don't like the way things are going. Now we get into the basketball perspective of all of this. And this is the biggest variable, I think, because we don't know necessarily what it's going to look like with the team. We don't know who's going to be on the team. But with whatever that team is and how they perform out there, maybe Pritchard and Hauser do struggle with the added attention from the defenses, right? Like if Pritchard is the third option on a team, he's going to see a little bit more attention because he's going to be out there as a second or first option at times, right? Celtics start the season slow. That could happen with the 2 above guys being cold, and then the flexibility in the cap is just going to be difficult as it is. And that flexibility in the cap is going to span beyond the Celtics franchise. Like other franchises not having cap flexibility is going to make it more difficult to make moves. It just is. So, with all of those things considered and the Eastern Conference potentially like organically developing, like there are teams out there that we went through and we were like, okay, these teams are going to be good teams, and then there's the Celtics, and then the rest of the teams are kind of going to suck. That's true, but there are other, like a team like Atlanta in our heads, in our mind, on paper, is not going to be as good as a Celtics team with Jaylen if things kind of go according to plan. But they could get better. There could be some organic development that makes them better. Like the Celtics could be in that play-in range. I think that makes this such a polarizing discussion because internally I think we all think that's where we would put them. Right in the middle. And nobody wants to be in the middle. You shake your head no.
I think they're going to be so much better than people are giving them credit for. I think people are in a state of panic right now. Like, listen, let me pull up the standings because I don't want to be like the
as you do that.
Sure.
Cleveland better. Indiana
I'm
better.
Now.
Yep. New York better.
Sure.
Then it gets watery. I think the Pistons.
We're
better.
talking about. I don't. But it could be maybe, right? I don't think it's definite. I think that'll be close. But let's say all 4 of those teams are definitely better than the Celtics. You were still talking about maybe
Philadelphia better.
Sure, maybe.
Maybe. They're going to be better.
Maybe. I'm not going to say maybe because I don't know if Embiid's going to be healthy. We don't know. We have no idea.
The Embiid thing is a big if, in fairness.
We have no idea.
I think even without him, they're probably better.
No. I disagree.
Okay. Fair. Whatever.
We don't have to agree. Listen, like, Jason Tatum is so unbelievably important to what the Celtics do. I don't, like, let me double check something before I start talking. Like, I don't want to, like, mitigate how great Jason Tatum is or make people think, like, oh, you know.
By the way, Philip, good email.
Yeah. Actually, before I go on this rant, I do need to tell you guys about Gametime because I fear
tell them
far from the ad placement.
Can we look at Tyler the Creator, please, every time we do this? Because I'm just sitting here monitoring ticket prices because I'm putting off buying them.
Let's go check out Tyler the Creator. Gametime is the best place for all your ticketing needs. Sporting events, absolutely, but also concerts, theater, and comedy shows you can check out there. Let me go over. I'll search Tyler the Creator here for Sam, just so we know exactly what we're checking out here. Tyler the Creator is coming to Boston. TD Garden, you can see here some of the best values. This is what they claim is a super deal. My favorite part about Gametime is that you can see the exact view from the seat that you are potentially sitting in. So you know exactly what you're going to be seeing from that seat. You know exactly what you're going to be looking at for that type of venue too. It's not a basketball court there. You can see what you're going to be seeing for a concert at TD Garden, which I think is a very useful thing to be able to have. On top of that, you can see the super deal that they list right there. This is what they view as the best possible value for your money, best bang for your buck here. You can also see the fire emblem, which tells you the cheapest get-in price for what you're going to potentially be paying. On top of that, you can toggle on and off the fees, so you know exactly what you're paying before you get to checkout, which is a positive, so you don't get surprised at the end with any hidden fees. Plus, zone deals mean you can pick an area of the stadium or venue where you don't know exactly where you're sitting, but you can get a discount because in that zone you'll definitely be, but you won't get to pick your seat. Plus, last minute deals, which means you can save up to 60% buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. All of that good stuff. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, what was I saying?
We were looking at teams better or worse than Boston.
Okay. Cleveland's going to be better than the Celtics, especially depending on what they do, if they do anything crazy this offseason, right? The Knicks are going to be better just because they have a talented roster. The Pacers are probably going to be better because they are just better. Anything past that, in my opinion, is a toss-up, right? Could the Sixers be better, especially if Embiid is healthy? Absolutely. But we don't know if Paul George is going to be the same player he once was. Maybe you can take that bet. Obviously, they're going to get McCain back, so he'll be pretty good. They're going to get a rookie who will probably be good, and they're going to have Tyrese Maxey, so they will obviously be competitive. But, like, for what it's worth, Embiid was out all year. McCain was out all year. And I know it, like, took a tail end towards the end of the season, but it's not like they were ever good. It's not like even with Maxey and George healthy and Embiid out, they were, like, this really, really good team. They were always not good. Like, they were always bad with that. And I'm not saying they're definitely going to be bad next year, but I'm saying, like, they'll definitely be better because Tyrese Maxey and Paul George at the very least will be healthy. I don't think that's fair because they weren't good this year with those guys. And I know they dealt with injuries, but I'm not ready to say they will definitely be better than the Celtics. The Magic, depending on improvement and the roster changes they make, they could be better than the Celtics. I'll give you that one too. My point is the Celtics for the past 3 years have a 7-1 record without Jason Tatum, right? And that's a very, very small sample size. But they have very clearly shown that they can win basketball games without Jason Tatum. And obviously the roster is going to look a lot different. You're not going to know what they're going to have because they're going to have impending changes. Maybe Drew and KP aren't here. But Jaylen Brown is an all-NBA player. Derek White has all-star potential. Peyton Pritchard is going to get more opportunities. And I think that's going to be a positive. I don't think it's fair to say, like, this is definitely just going to be, like, a maybe playing team. I still think they could be a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference without Jason Tatum. Like, I think they're that good. I think they have the depth. And I don't think you can say anything is definite, especially in the Eastern Conference, and especially if Giannis gets traded to the West.
I mean, the Giannis thing is real. The Eastern Conference being weak is real. I think Orlando's going to take a step back towards where they were at when everybody wasn't hurt for them. I think Philly's going to come back from that lottery area. I think Toronto could compete and be a little bit more competitive. I think Atlanta's going to take a step forward. I don't really know, but there is no guarantees with any of those.
This is what I'm saying. Like we all thought the Cavs would be the 9 seed this year, and the Sixers would be the top 3. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but the same. I think the Celtics are in that, like, we don't know what they're going to be category.
Sure.
Like, I don't think it's fair to be like they're definitely going to be better than all of these teams because I don't know how realistic that is.
I'm just giving you my opinion.
That's fine.
Of all these teams, like, the Celtics still have an All-NBA player, and they still have a guy who's a fringe All-Star. They still have a great coach. They still have a history of playing great with their depth. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, they'll probably just like be a 9-10 seed. Like, I just don't see it. We have seen nothing for the past 4 or 5 years of the Hawks that has indicated they're going to get better. Nothing. They have been the same team they have with Trae Young for the past 5 seasons. They have consistently been a 6 to 10 seed every single season. The Magic have consistently been a 6 to 10 seed for the past X amount of seasons. And that's a little different because they have 2 young guys who are constantly improving. Sure. But like the impending growth, the maybe growth is only maybe until you see it for 5 years. And so could the Hawks, could the Raptors, could the Magic, could the Pistons be better than the Celtics? Absolutely. Obviously. The Celtics could be an unmitigated disaster next season without Jason Tatum. We don't know. But I'm saying, based on what I think, what I believe, what I was seeing from Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and all this, I don't think that's going to be the case. I still think they'll be a quality playoff team. I still think they'll be a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. Will they be fighting for it? Sure. Could they be stuck in the 5 to 8 mix like the Western Conference was this year, next year? Sure. But I think they're going to be better than people are giving them credit for right now. And I think a lot of it is because of the panic of Jason Tatum being out for the year, which is understandable.
For me, it's less about the Tatum thing. I mean, the Tatum thing is a part of it. Make no mistake.
And they're also going to lose pieces like Kristaps and Drew, but yeah.
Yeah, like those are not small pieces to lose.
Of course not.
But
of course not.
In your defense, we don't know what's coming back yet. We don't know what they're going to have yet. So,
and for what it's worth,
I think
they have played most of the last 2 seasons without Kristaps anyway. So, like, I'm not going to make that a major factor in my conversations.
Yeah. But, like, you don't know if Al's going to be back. You don't know if your top 3 big guys are even going to be on the team.
You don't know.
Like, that's not nothing.
We have no idea. I'm just saying what I think. Like, this is a complete guess. I just don't think. I think they're going to be better than people expect them to be. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, fair enough. But, like, there's people that are in your camp. I don't know what camp I'm in. I'm in the I haven't picked a side camp yet, but there are people in, like, the Xanis camp that are, like, punt, tank, like, which, ridiculous. Like, I can also understand. Like, I can see both sides of this. I can see the skepticism in that. But, like, the Warriors did that, and they got Wiseman, and it didn't work. But they still somehow won a championship in the 3 years after.
Even if you got a piece of paper that says, if you keep this current roster with, and when I say keep, I mean minus probably Drew and Kristaps, right? If you make no other major changes outside of that, but you're definitely going to be a 7 to 10 seed, you still do it. I do not care. It does not matter because it is so much bigger than just one season of basketball. Like, because one, there's no guarantee you win the lottery. There's no guarantee you get a top 4 pick. You could be the Wizards and slide back to the 6th pick, and then you're taking a dart on a dartboard rather than AJ DeBonza or Cameron Boozer or Darren Peterson or whatever. 2, if you trade Jaylen and you do blow it up for that, you don't know what it's going to look like around Jason Tatum after all that. Like, there's no earthly idea. Like, there is no guarantees. Like, and there's like not a ton of guarantees, even if you like, if you suffer through 1 year 7 to 10 seed basketball, at least you know you would still have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White, and you can win a championship with that. You can. You can find a way. You can find the pieces around it. The Celtics found Sam Hauser as an undrafted free agent, Luke Cornett in the G League, and they found a way to be competitive with those guys. Is it going to be objectively harder because you don't have Drew Holiday and Kristaps? Yes. Are the playoffs a clusterfuck every year? Absolutely. It's not going to be easy. But if you have those 3 players, you can compete for a championship. And so blowing that up for an AJ DeBonza type or whatever, or let me phrase, a 10% chance at an AJ DeBonza type doesn't make any sense, especially when you have a top 5 player in the world who's going to be coming back. And are there uncertainties that come with his recovery and what he'll be? Absolutely. But the uncertainty of blowing it up and losing an all-NBA player and everything else for when one of the best players in the world comes back is far worse than keeping Jaylen Brown and Derek White and planning for the future rather than just one season.
I mean, I think there's part of this that is you don't have to get rid of Jaylen to also not be good. Like, part of Philip's email is like, what if things don't go well out the gates?
But you do, though, because let's say Jaylen Brown is a disaster as the one option. You are still not going to be a bottom 4 team in the Eastern Conference. You're just too good. You have too many good pieces on the team. You're going to be better than the Nets. You're going to be better than the Wizards. You're going to be better than the Bulls, maybe, and the Hornets, maybe.
I mean, the Wizards, they have Marcus and Chris Middleton now. They have younger players who are going to be growing as basketball players. Like, does Marcus and Chris Middleton mean that they're going to all of a sudden be this competitive team? No, but there may be enough internal development, like, where they are taking steps forward. Like, the Pistons won 13 games last year. They didn't make a ton of massive roster moves, and all of a sudden they were the 6th seed. Like, this stuff can happen.
The Wizards don't have Cade. The Wizards don't have Cade.
They don't have Cade. I'm not disputing
they don't have anything. Let me rephrase. They don't have anything close to Cade.
They do not. They do not. And I'm not saying they're going to be the Pistons. What I'm saying is it is possible for any of those teams towards the bottom to have internal development that makes them not a joke.
But
not
even over here,
stock.
They're not going to be like the Jazz and the Wizards are automatically 2 for 2 going to be worse than the Celtics, in my opinion. There's a real chance the Suns are, because we don't know what's going to happen with their roster. There's a real chance the Bucks are, because we don't know what's going to happen with their roster. Like, if you have Jaylen Brown and Derek White on the roster, you are not going to be worse than any of the Nets. The Nets are awful. They're horrendous. Like, tanking is impossible unless you trade Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. It is not feasible. And I don't think, like...
I mean, the Sixers just tanked. They didn't trade anybody.
Yeah, could Jaylen Brown have, historic and
he has a problem right now?
Sure, absolutely. Could that get worse? Yes. But I'm saying trading him because maybe he could get hurt. And it just doesn't.
I'm not saying to trade him. I'm just saying maybe there's a point where they just say, Jaylen, get some rest.
Sure. If Jaylen gets hurt, or is hurt enough,
not even hurt. It's just things are poorly, and they're like, it's not worth having you put wear and tear on this.
Sure. If he is injured and you are worried about future injuries, then you can sit him, but you don't just sit him to tank. That is not how it works. Not only not how it works, but is also very against the rules, extremely against the rules. You cannot do it.
We just watched the Sixers do this. What are we talking about?
Embiid has
Embiid aside, Embiid absolutely is just a walking medical patient.
Yes. Paul George also has historic career. The Sixers are a mess because of their own incompetence of signing a player to a $160 million contract.
I mean, there's no disputing
that is not the same thing. I just don't think it is possible to tank if you still have Jaylen Brown on the roster.
I mean, we all were like, where's Lauri Markkanen for forever this past winter into early spring? He just wasn't playing games for the Jazz because they didn't want him to play. It happens.
Is it possible the Celtics could end up inadvertently tanking because they are bad enough to where they're like, all right, let's get Jaylen some rest? Absolutely. I'm not denying that. But I'm just saying going into the season saying, all right, let's just sit Jaylen. I just don't think that's going to be how it works.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of teams that go into the season with maybe this will work, and then they're like, oh wait, it's not working, so they just commit.
Maybe.
Who knows what happens with the Celtics? It could go either way. Philip, Hall of Fame email, Mount Rushmore email. You got us to talk for 20, 25 minutes about this. Good work.
Yeah. Going back, Troy also had an email about the AFL. He said, hey guys, AFL is to rugby like the NBA is to football. Rugby and football are two brute force games. AFL is a finesse game. Average team scores around 90 points a game. Okay. So winning by 60 plus is a big win. Winning by 90 and the team is only feeling happy that it wasn't 100 points. Sport in Australia is quite regional. Queensland and New South Wales are rugby league. The rest of the country is AFL. Although I live in Melbourne, which it's Melbourne versus Melbourne. I watch a YouTuber, Rainbolt, the GeoGuessr guy I say.
Yes.
His guy, he always goes, it's not Melbourne. You just have an accent. So that's what he says. So apologies. But I live in Melbourne where we had a 100,000 seat venue, which is where the NFL is going to play in a few years. There will be a full crowd for that. The joke here is that we get 50,000 for Tiddlywinks competition. Anyway, it's hard to explain the rules without visuals, but the quickest way is starts with the center bounce, kind of like a jump ball. Aim is to kick it through the big poles. Goal for 6. Missing kick it through the little ones, you get 1. There's a lot of jumping and tackling and kicking. Jumping, tackling, and kicking. You have to kick or handball, which is a punch with one hand. Anyway, most of us guys who play basketball normally play football, as well as a lot of the skills are transferable. I'm guessing this is why we're more comfortable defenders, to tell the truth, as Aussie rules is all out positioning. There's another element here. It is unlikely that an AFL player plays with their kids. You normally talking careers ending early 30s. AFL is kind of rewards loyalty with a little quirk. Your father played football for over 100 games, normally 5 seasons for one team. Then they get the ability to match any bid for you in the draft. What the fuck? So you get 2 or 3 generations playing for one team. My team is the Western Bulldogs. I watched all 3 of their dads play in the 90s and early 2000s, and now they're playing for the team. Anyways, here's one of those guys pulling a too small after kicking a goal. These next ones are too long, so unless you need to kill time. Probably the best part of their game. The big mark, colloquially called a specky, and amazing goals. Let's watch some amazing goals and the too small. And then we don't have to watch all of them because we were deep into this podcast already, but still. Okay, so this is the too small sentence.
Right in the chest. Oh, he just plays with such aggression. Oh, he went, sorry.
This is a finesse game?
He just plays with...
Yikes. Okay. And then these are some of the best goals. This is 15 minutes long. We're not going to watch it, but I'll skip through to some of the best moments. I see. They just punch it.
I see.
Interesting. So can they not pick it up? What the hell? Oh, they can't pick
he
it up.
picks it up.
And then he kicks it. Oh, through the big goal. Ooh. I see. Okay, wait. So, like, what are some of the most replayed ones? This one seems to be popular. Okay, so they throw it in there. And it goes... Oh!
Oh, I see. So they got it to go through the middle. They added a couple extra points by doing that.
I see. Okay. Interesting. So what is he? Oh, he kept it in bounds. And then threw it around the thing. Wow. That's sick. Okay, I kind of understand. He has to keep the ball in bounds like this. And then he kicks it up. Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Okay, NBA stuff.
Conference finals.
Let's start with Wolves Thunder, Sam. Go ahead.
Wolves Thunder, they didn't play each other last year, right? Thunder lost to Dallas. Dallas beat the Wolves. But OKC survives Game 7 by bludgeoning the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, they survived the series. Of
course.
By bludgeoning the Nuggets, and it was not pretty. It was close for a little bit, and then it wasn't. This should be a great series for the NBA. You've got two of your younger stars. SGA is older than people think, but Anthony Edwards is still pretty young and has now made back-to-back conference finals. Pretty cool for Minnesota, who I think had only been to the conference finals one other time, and now they've done it in back-to-back seasons. Both teams are relatively deep. They've got great defenders on both sides, and OKC is going to be tested once again. And Julius Randle's there, who's actually been playing really good. Can't believe it.
Sorry, I just got a text that apparently Felger and Maz are ripping my Joe Mazzulla question.
Really?
Apparently. Whatever. They're morons. Wolves Thunder is fun, man. Like, for as much as I dislike Anthony Edwards, he's been playing phenomenal basketball in this playoff, so you got to give him credit, man. He is, I don't know exactly what his assist numbers are, but I know they're way up, and I know he is responding to the pressure they're throwing at him phenomenally well. And so credit to him. I think it's a really fun Timberwolves team, even outside Anthony Edwards. Like, I think Julius Randle's playing really good basketball. Naz Reid's been great. Jaden McDaniel's been awesome. Yeah, Anthony Edwards is averaging 26.5, 8 and 6 in the playoffs. So, like, he's playing awesome. Shea has not had the most efficient playoff run. In fact, I think the Thunder have been better with him off the floor for stretches, but that also comes with the acknowledgement of when Shea is on the floor, he's a walking double team. Like, it is like he draws so much pressure. You have to account for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So give him that credit. And he's also averaging 29. I don't know who I'd pick. I think I'll lean Thunder. It depends on how well the Timberwolves role players continue to shoot, but that also applies to the Thunder. I think I'd go like Thunder in 6 if I had to make a pick. But this is going to be a very fun series because, again, as much as I'm not an Anthony Edwards fan, I do think the Timberwolves are really, really good right now. And they're hot, too. They've lost, 2 games the whole playoffs? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 5-game series. Yeah, I think it'll go 7. I think OKC will win. I think Minnesota's going to give them a good fight. I think they're motivated. I think a lot of those guys were in this position last year, and like they kind of feel the pain of having gotten that far and kind of just getting humiliated on the big stage. Like that Mavs-Wolves series last May was not competitive. It was competitive, but like Minnesota did not show up in the big moments. That's why it was 5-1, right? Like that's why it panned out the way it did. And I'm sure Edwards and Jaden McDaniels and Rudy are all kind of carrying that with them. They want to do it for Mike Conley, too, who's never really made it this far in his career. So I'll be rooting for them. I just don't know if they're going to win.
Yeah, I almost want to root for the Wolves, too, just because I like the underdog. I just don't think I can. Which is like, whatever.
And Rudy, rubbing off on Rudy. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. Not exactly the same, but not great.
Similar.
No, I don't think so. I don't even think similar.
You don't think whatever. We don't need to dissect.
It's not good. Far different from what Andy did, in my opinion. Like we're, fine. I'll tell you. So Rudy apparently rumoredly like kicked out his girlfriend who was carrying his child or something. Like, but how much of that do we actually know versus how much do we read the TMZ headline? Like, did they just break up and he said, "Please move out"? Like,
didn't read it.
We don't know anything. Anthony Edwards got a girl pregnant. Said, "I don't want anything to fucking do with you. Fuck off." Like, very different.
Did you hear the latest in the Anthony Edwards? By the way, do you want to hear it?
Sure, I'm sure it's awesome.
So him and the baby mama are in a court dispute right now, and the too long didn't read of the court dispute is whether or not he impregnated her in Georgia or New York. That is the big beef because I'm almost positive there are different
awesome
child support laws in each state.
Man. He's so fun. He's such a great dude.
Aura.
Yeah, it's something. Anyways, Knicks-Pacers Eastern Conference Finals. Sam, what you think?
I'm rooting with all my heart.
I know.
Go Pacers, yes sirs. Unbiased journalism. I do think that the Pacers are a very good team for what it's worth. The Pacers were the most impressive team Boston played last year. Brad Stevens acknowledged their greatness on the podium today, saying that they very well could have been up 3-1 on the Celtics last year. And the Celtics last year, who are an absolute wagon. The Pacers have been dominant in this playoff run. I think they, as have the Wolves, have only lost, the 2 games, right? Same thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Except, Indiana's actually had to play pretty good teams. I mean, Milwaukee is Milwaukee. Well, let's call a spade, but beating the Cavs in 5 is not something I think anyone expected, even people like you who are very big supporters of the Pacers, right? Like, what they did to Cleveland was a message. It was like, this is your king. It was the Michael B. Jordan and Black Panther. Like, that's what it was. They made an example of them.
Yes. I want the Pacers to win. I like Tyrese Halliburton a lot. I like their team a lot. I think they're very fun. I think they're well coached. I think I said this on Knicks Film School a couple days ago. Everything that there is about playoff basketball, it is slow the pace down. It is focus on defense. It is feed the ball to your stars. Where Carlisle says, "Fuck you. I'm not fucking doing any of that. Go fuck yourself." He plays fast. He tries his best on defense, but just takes the ball out of the rim and then starts running. And they don't give a fuck how many shots Halliburton or Siakam get. Like, you look at any Pacers box score, it is like 7 guys took 8 shots. Halliburton took 15. Siakam got 13, and then they go. Like it is fully like they are doubling down on regular season basketball, and it is phenomenal to watch. So credit the Pacers, and their defense been a lot better this season. So credit to them. I'd probably pick the Pacers. I'm going to root for the Pacers. I'd probably pick the Pacers in like 6 or 7. However, I said this before. I just want an Eastern Conference team to win the finals. I don't care.
Yeah, heel move from Jack.
I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks.
The players minus Cat. Fine.
I don't
fuck
care.
Cat.
I like the Knicks. I like the players.
I seriously, I'm gonna sound like I'm on like the copium and stuff. I just don't think they're that good. Like, they had game 4 of the second half. I don't like game 4 of the second half. They were really good. Game 6 they were really good. They did not impress me, and they impressed me with their no quit. Like, you cannot take that away from them. Like, they still had to win the games. They had to step through the door. But, like, the Celtics did some fucking crazy shit to lose those first 2 games.
I'll put it this way. If you had to rank the 4 teams left in the playoffs, who do you think is most likely to win the championship?
Oklahoma City.
Okay. If you think the Knicks don't impress you, the Thunder should also not impress you. Because based on playoff basketball alone, they have played extremely similar. The Thunder have had
it's not what I'm basing it off. I'm basing it off both.
What do you mean?
Like, the Knicks did not impress me in the regular season, and they really haven't impressed me in this playoff basketball.
That doesn't matter anymore, in my opinion. Like, I don't think the regular season can even come into play like a tiny bit anymore, because it clearly, so painfully clearly did not matter in terms of what teams are good and not. The Cavs are out. The Celtics are out. The top 2 seeds outside of the Thunder in the Western Conference are out. What are the Wolves? A 6 seed? And the Pacers.
The West is.
but still, how much does it actually matter if we're in a space where the top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference are out? The Thunder just had to play a 7-game series that, yes, they blew them out in Game 7, but they almost lost. And then the Rockets are out, the Lakers are out, the Clippers are out. So how much did it actually matter? So that's my thing. Like, I don't think you can take anything from the regular season, especially considering everything the Knicks did in the regular season, they threw out the window in the playoffs and stopped doing. So I just think the Knicks are not the team you saw in the regular season. Like, clearly. I think they are. Have they been perfect? Hell no. Obviously
Right.
not. They haven't been perfect. But for as many flaws as they had in the regular season, for the games they have lost in the playoffs, the Thunder have done the same thing, right? Like, and you could say better competition here, there, whatever you want to call it, but like, Celtics were a 61-win team coming off a championship with, for 3.5 of the games, a top 5 player in the world. Like, I don't know. I think they have been so much more than the regular season team that they were.
They have taken a step in the right direction. Like, you can't be like they've been putrid in the playoffs just like they've been putrid in the regular season. And they've showed up in the clutch of those games. Like, there's no disputing that. And they did it in the first round. Like, it's part of their identity. It was not
And the
a
Pacers
complete
played
fluke.
clutch games. The Pacers like won 2 clutch games that like define their series.
No, I'm talking about the Knicks.
I know, but I'm saying like it's not like the Pacers just were like they're gonna play clutch games. Both of those teams are good in the clutch, and the Knicks are going to probably get those opportunities to do it again.
And listen, I mean, that is the needle mover in the playoffs, for what it's worth. I don't know, man. I don't like them. I'm definitely biased.
I know you don't.
Like, there is bias, but I also, like, there's the part of it where I'm just not moved either. Like, I don't know.
Why?
I think their role players are very hit or miss. Like, there's not a lot of consistency outside of Brunson. Like, Bridges is a coin flip. Cat's a coin flip.
Bridges
OG's like...
He's been a coin flip for 3 quarters, and then when it matters, it doesn't matter anymore. He's not a coin flip anymore. He is heads. He's been unbelievable in the 4th quarter.
He's been very good in the 4th quarter, especially in the Boston series.
Exactly.
Well, offensively, he was good in the 4th quarter in Game 2. He really didn't do much in Game 1. He had the stop in Game 1 that everyone remembers. But, like, I'm not relying on him to give me great scoring. I'm not relying on OG to give me great scoring. Even though OG had Game 1, he was incredible. That's the thing. Like, it's just not like... And listen, you can go Thunder. Like, J-Dub, not consistent.
But I think the thing with the Knicks is that, like, the scoring drawn out through the entire game almost doesn't even matter because of how well they rebound the basketball, how good Jalen Brunson is in the pick and roll when you need him to be, and how locked in they were on defense for stretches. Now, I think the counter to that is how good are they going to be playing full court defense for 90 minutes? And we talked about this. I talked about this with Andrew. Like, will they be able to keep up after being run to the bone by Tibbs all season with the team who likes to run that goes 11 deep rather than 7 deep?
Right.
Like, that's a concern for sure. And like I said, I picked the Pacers. I'm just saying, like, discrediting the way the Knicks have won basketball games, I don't think is fair to the fact that they won the games.
I'm not saying that they didn't win the games. What I'm saying is, like, coming away from the Boston series, obviously looking through a Celtics lens, like, I'm more disappointed in the Celtics than I am impressed with the Knicks.
I disagree, but I mean, we can agree to disagree. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying like
anywhere on that.
I'm not saying the Celtics didn't blow it. They absolutely did. But like, in order for the Celtics to blow it, the Knicks had to make the correct plays and do the best things, and they did the best things. And so I don't think it's fair to take away from the Knicks for doing those things. But regardless, I still think the Pacers are going to win the series just because I think they
fingers crossed
play a brand of basketball that is going to be difficult for the Knicks to deal with. But last thing before the rat list is Giannis is going to meet with the Bucks later. I think it's next week is what it is. This is per Chris Haynes, which is like kind of reporting, but like also not really reporting because like this is like almost like obviously. But Mark Stein says the Bucks are hopeful he wants to stay. I don't really know. I feel like if you're the Bucks, just trade him. Like, it's time, but who knows, man.
It really depends what Giannis wants. I don't really know what they can sell him on. right? Like what are they going to tell him? Yeah, feel really good about everything with our 0 draft picks and Dame. Dame tore his Achilles too, right?
I think Dame tore his Achilles too. Yes, let me double check what the exact thing is, but yes.
So they like roll Giannis into the boardroom, and waiting there. So waiting there is just Kuzma. They're like, "What do you think? You want to stay?" He's like, "No."
Kuzma, Ryan Rollins, and Kevin Porter Jr. all hanging out. Bobby Portis too, I guess. It's gross. They have completely ruined their own roster. It's awful. If you ever wanted a reason for the Celtics not to overreact, the Bucks. Look at the Bucks. Look at them overreact to 2 losses in the first round by trading for Holiday for a guy who hasn't been very good in his old age and just tore his Achilles. Look at them trading a franchise centerpiece, and I'm not saying Middleton and Jaylen Brown are the same player. Like, you don't know what you get back for Jaylen Brown, how it's going to look. Bingo, Kyle Kuzma, ding dong. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever want a framework for how wrong things can go when you decide not to bank on what you know, it's Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they should trade Jaylen, but
Yes.
just the hilarity of the Milwaukee Bucks is incredible. They are cooked. I don't know what the hell they're gonna get back for Giannis. I heard Simmons and Russillo like saying like Giannis for Mobley straight up, like, would you do it? And like Mobley is a good return for Giannis.
I will spit in your face if I'm the Bucks. Hell no.
Right. But like in theory, like that's a defensive player of the
Good
year. Like
framework.
he's very
Good
young, like that kind of thing, right? But like if you get Mobley, like
It's a good start.
not really a number one, like you're gonna be in that range where you're gonna want to have your draft picks and you don't have them. And Mobley's a decent player, like the upper echelon of single player in a deal that you're gonna get.
Yes. Great starting point. It's the perfect centerpiece of a trade, but it can't be the whole trade. I agree.
Yeah. So they're just like in this weird place where it's like you can't commit to being bad, but the return you're going to get for Giannis isn't going to replace him, and the rest of your team stinks. And Dame's Achilles is torn.
Did my mic cut out, or am I still good?
You're good.
Okay. If I'm the Bucks, right? You look across the league. My first call is to a few teams. It is to the Rockets. It is to the Spurs. And maybe it is to a couple other teams that have like, okay, players and are looking to improve. If you're, call up the Rockets, this is where you start. You have pick 10. You have future Phoenix Suns picks. I want at least 2 of those. I want pick 10. I want Şengün. I want Amen Thompson. Now, the Rockets are not going to do that. They're going to say, what the fuck? You want us to give up Amen Thompson and Şengün and those picks? That's too much. But maybe they say yes, right? Like, that's where you start if you're the Bucks. You talk about that. Maybe you say, oh, also give me Reed Shepherd or also give me Jabari Smith. Like, you aim as high as you possibly can as a starting point in this conversation. Because if you get Alperen Şengün, you get a guy who you know can very clearly be like a top 15 player in the league based on all-star voting alone, whatever, and like is only going to get better. But you also get top 10 pick in this year's draft and picks in the future that could turn into top 10 picks. Like that is the future building point. You need picks that could be good. You need to bet on a team. And you get maybe a Amen Thompson who could be an all-star. He's phenomenal. He's unbelievable, right?
Right.
You call up Spurs, you say, give me pick 2, give me Stephon Castle, give me Devin Vassell, and we'll go from there. Devin Vassell, fine, quality, upper echelon, role player, whatever you want to call it. Stephon Castle looks awesome. You can get Dylan Harper with that second pick. You'll have a good framework of young pieces to build forwards, and you can get future draft assets. That's fine, right? Then you start calling up the swing teams. Hey, how available is Jaylen Brown? We want to stay relevant. Like, can we talk? And the Celtics are probably going to say, I don't know. Like, not that, Jaylen for Giannis is a no, because I think you'd be foolish to say no, but I don't know if we want to attach Jaylen with all of our draft capital future, since we don't know what our financial outlook is going to look like for the rest of the foreseeable future. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Because you would have limited ways to build around that moving forward. You start calling up like, oh, hey, Brooklyn, can we have every single pick you possibly have? Because they have Suns picks, because they have picks that could be good picks. Like that,
and then
that's where you have to go.
Brooklyn drops the phone on the ground because they can't believe their wet dream of having Giannis on their team, which has been a prolonged saga for years and years, that every time there's a possibility that Giannis doesn't want to play in Milwaukee anymore, the Nets are always interested.
Exactly. But I think that's where you have to start. And then you call up like, hey, give me Jaylen Williams and Chet and all the picks, which they're not going to say yes. But at the very least, like if you get Jaylen Williams, Chet, and all those Thunder picks, you're feeling awesome because you can get Clippers picks, you can get all that stuff. And then you also say like, you get on your knees and say, please, New Orleans or Portland, we need our picks back. Thank Giannis, please, God, give them back. But like, it just, I don't know what keeping Giannis gets you at this point, outside of the let's try again in 2 years when we find some flexibility, solely because Giannis wants to be in Milwaukee and we don't want to trade the best player who has ever stepped foot in our franchise. We want him to be a Buck for life. So we will sacrifice a year of maybe not contending to reframe and figure it out next year. Like, and I'd get that too.
Point still stands. Sentiment still stands. Unfair to Kareem. He did play there, but that was not the point you were trying to make. Regardless, best player on the Bucks since Kareem.
No,
better than Kareem?
He's a better Buck than Kareem, yes. 100%.
Better Buck than Kareem?
Yes.
I agree.
That's what I meant.
Fair.
He is not better all time than Kareem. He is a better Milwaukee Buck. He's the best Milwaukee Buck who has ever played for the franchise.
Regardless, whatever you meant, the point still stands. The guy is the best thing they've seen since Kareem. Like,
Kareem's not stepping on that court anytime.
Kareem not walking through that door.
No.
Oh, man. My favorite part about this whole thing was the Chris Haynes tweet was hilarious. Bucks make contact with Giannis. Like that was the notification that popped up on my phone. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean, Chris?
Would you trade Jaylen and 4 picks for Giannis?
4 picks? No. I don't think so. I don't think I would.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think we should do the rat list.
All right. Wait, so you would do it? You don't want to incriminate yourself?
Maybe. I would seriously think about it. Yeah.
With 4 picks?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. We can do the rat list. It's not happening.
I mean, it's not happening, and I'm not saying you trade Jaylen. You would have, after next year, 2 top 5 players in the world on your roster.
Yeah.
And even next year, without Jason Tatum, you will be a title contender immediately, in my opinion. Derek White, Giannis, Peyton Pritchard, that shooting around Giannis Antetokounmpo with whatever, minimum center you get in free agency, or if you bring back Al Horford, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Giannis.
Emergency Celtics switch for the background.
You know what I'm saying?
Do they trade Jaylen for Giannis? I've had my mind you, this has been like, if this was a film, just the character arc of Jack on this show being like, fuck no, they're not trading Giannis, and then we're here. Granted, trading Jaylen.
I don't think they should trade Jaylen. I'm just saying, if you have the chance to trade for a top 5 player in the world, you do it. You try it. You consider it. Obviously.
Now I've kind of been like, my interest is peaked, because at first I was like, well, that's fucking stupid because Tatum's not going to play anyway, and then you're just going to trade for Giannis. But like, if you manage to keep a lot of your shooters, it does make sense.
Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, you literally couldn't include them in the Giannis trade because it would have to be 1-for-1 by CBA rules.
Then you find a way to keep Drew. You can play together again.
Yeah, I don't think you could keep Drew. You'd have to get really fancy, but
can you go trade for Middleton? You just remake the Bucks?
I mean, theoretically, like, if you brought back Al on a small contract, you gave up Luke because he was too expensive, you could roll out a lineup of Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Sam Hauser, Giannis, and Al, and then figure out the bench for whatever you get back in a Porzingis deal or whatever you get back, in free agency with minimum contracts and Shireman, right? Is that a championship contender? Yeah, I think so. Giannis won a title with Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton.
There's your thumbnail.
No, it's not thumbnail. I'm hiding it late in the podcast. But and I'm not even saying you do it. I'm just saying you can't just shoot down a trade where you could possibly get a top 5 player in the world. It's the same thing why you wouldn't shoot down a trade for Jokic. You wouldn't shoot down a trade for Shea. You wouldn't shoot down a trade for fucking Luka. Like, you just don't not look at it.
Yeah.
Like, is there absolutely more nuance to a Luka or one of those guys who isn't the best defender trade? Absolutely. But Giannis plays defense. And I don't know. It's the same reason that the Bucks or the whoever else wouldn't turn down a Tatum trade, peak interest, right? And for what it's worth, I don't even think the Bucks would take that. I don't think they would want Jaylen Brown and 4 first-round picks for Giannis.
No, I
I
don't
think they
think
would
so.
rather take young pieces and picks for the future and whatever. But I'm just saying, if it was a potential opportunity, you don't just scoff and turn away. So that is all. Ratless, Sam, go ahead.
Ratless is whoever decides to write the aggregation piece of that, which might be
No
me.
one's gonna aggregate.
What if I do it?
If you'd like to. Go ahead.
Just do it just to troll. No,
Sure.
I won't do it. Ratlist is when you like have to call somewhere and you get put on hold. Why does every phone line that you get put on hold have like the most just ear shattering piano music as the waiting tone? Like I was on hold today and all of the sound is like blasted out where like it's just staticky with how loud it is.
Yeah,
It was horrible.
not fun. I hate wait music. It's ridiculous. What do I need to? What do I want to rattle this? What did I do yesterday? I feel like I did something in the morning.
You were
yesterday
supposed
that
to
I
play
remember.
basketball and then you
Oh yeah, Ratless Noah. Noah overslept. We were supposed to play basketball. Me, Noah, Justin, Bobby Manning, and a couple of Noah's friends. So we were gonna have enough for 3v3. And then I wake up at noon. We were supposed to play at noon, so I Uber over there at like 11:45. 11:51. I'm in the Uber. I text Noah. I said, "So you could be there at noon." Doesn't answer. I get to the court, start shooting around. No answer. No answer. Terp gets there around 12:40 because he had to wait. He was running a little late or whatever. Said 12:30 is when he get there. Then he had to find parking. He parked far away. So I was at the court for 40 minutes by myself, shooting around while we were supposed to be playing. And Noah texts us at like 12:45. Oh my god, I just woke up. Disaster. Now I can't be too mad because
she's on your old sleep
this.
schedule.
I know. But also Ratless Noah, because Noah tweeted a video of Justin Turpin hitting a game winner over me, right? And fair, valid. He hit a 3 from like the fucking logo. Whatever. It is what it is. I lost like 14-16. Well, what she failed to post is the 2 games of King of the Court 15 we played, all ones, doesn't matter, where I fucking killed them. Where I smoked them. Where I scored. If I took, let's say, 20 shots against Noah, I scored 19 of them. It was not even like, but that's not on Twitter. Those clips didn't go up. Those weren't filmed. No, what was filmed was the game winner. And also Noah decided to like, we were gonna play a third game, but she was like, "Why don't you guys just play 1-on-1? I'm tired, right?" And she just woke up. So I understand it. Like there's like you're still waking up. She decided to be the ref, and she just called fouls on me the whole fucking game.
Who could have predicted that?
It's fucking ridiculous, man. So I got screwed. And the reason I lost the King of the Court game, by the way, is because I called a travel on myself because I was trying to be honorable.
Honorable move.
I was 14-14 and I scored, but I threw it up, got the rebound, and put it back, but it didn't hit the rim, and so I shouldn't have been able to grab it. And so I told Justin, and he took the ball, and he hit that shot. But yeah, it was fun though. Still, we still played some good runs.
Glad you guys had a good time.
Indeed.
Rat list is timing. I was going to present this as an anti-rat list, but I think I'm actually pissed off considering the circumstances.
Sure.
Yesterday we got a godsend in terms of news. Dustin Dopriak put out there, per league source, the NBA directed teams to return to core uniforms for conference finals and finals. City editions were only allowed for the first 2 rounds. Now, the Celtics do not wear city editions in the playoffs. Bless up. Glad they have never done it. Makes me so happy because the city edition. First of all, maybe we should all think about the impact the city editions had on this disappointing season because it has to be a factor. But the Pacers had been
Jersey games did they win or lose in the playoffs?
Well, it's just the overall stink of the like just having those even in the wardrobe, like the possibility that you could put those on.
They didn't.
Maybe they were up 20 and they were like, they saw somebody in the crowd.
Did they wear them in the playoffs?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would have been irate. You would have known if they did. I would have been so pissed. But anyway, the league has instructed teams not to wear them and wear traditional uniforms, and it just sucks that the Celtics aren't involved because sometimes the opposing teams fuck up the jersey selection for the Celtics, where they have to wear white on the road.
Well, they still could.
They could. If they made the Pacers would have worn they would have worn yellow every time. They're doing it again.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. I'm pretty good. we went long anyways, so
I'm starving. So
fine. Yeah, let's get out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us how you're feeling. Tell us if you should trade Jaylen for Giannis. Subscribe and hit the bell. We're here every single day with new content. We'll be talking all summer long. Full pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps morning after each game. Other videos on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us streaming pregame live before games. I got to really take that out of the outro until October. Just keep saying it. There's no games to fucking pregame for. Subscribe. We're here every day. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you need those, if you want those, they're in your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate it very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We are reading them every pod recording. You saw us read them today. Big thank you to Philip and Troy for getting those emails in. We appreciate it. Especially this time of year, it always makes it a lot more fun to record when everyone's involved. You can email, you can follow us on socials at hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're doing all streams there on YouTube and on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's Jackson1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on. Taco.